Chag Sameach, everyone.
Chag Sameach.
I use this for the Zoom congregation. There we are. This has been a very full weekend and Shabbat. And so I want to thank everyone who helped make this possible. Rabbi Harper, in some ways, this is like a reverse Shavuot, which is there's a tradition that beginning in Shavuot, you start to study, and you can study all night long. And this is the reverse Shavuot. We're studying so much leading up to Shavuos. After a full evening, you're going to want to hit the sack. But this is exactly. We have more Torah. I know. Lots going on. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the schedule is you're going to eat. And so we'll have a very brief minyan of about a half an hour. And then we're going to have our Shavuos dairy meal and continue with an evening of learning. And I just want to thank Rabbi Sapphire, who had prepared these words for a Shabbat or two ago. When you remember, I mentioned that her flexibility for deferring her comments after the shooting in Washington, D.C. And we were excited to share about the Omer. And so this evening, Rabbi.
I'm always excited to share about the Omer. So there's no better time than the sun hasn't quite yet set. No, I think, can you all see it okay? I think it's okay. Let us watch this. It's not going to fully set while we daven, but we are still in until we light our festival candles, the last day of the Omer. And it's fitting that I can share these words about our Omer counting this year as we have just gathered in the atrium for our gallery gathering, stunningly put together by Hannah with support from Rabbi Harper and this entire Shabbat and weekend of study. So very apropos that I can share these words now, right after we finish joining together in the Nigun that you may not have known was called the Sfirat HaOmer Nigun. So a few words of Torah as we begin. Unlike many of our tradition's most prominent chagim and festivals, the date for Shavuot is not mentioned in the Torah. We only know when to observe it by counting a period of 7 weeks from the second night of Passover. Last week's parashah, the week before, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15 reads, "And from the day on which you bring the sheaf, called the Omer, of elevation offering, the day after Pesach begins, you shall count off 7 weeks. They must be complete. You must count until the day after the 7th week, 50 days. Then you shall bring an offering of new grain to God." So today, this evening, is Shavuot, the day of the new offering. While the counting of this time period began as an agricultural exercise to harvest the grain and to bring it as an offering to God, the practice has evolved over the centuries. Our rabbis, the Talmudic sages, viewed it as a time to mark our journey of the exodus from Egypt to the revelation of the Torah at Sinai. The mystic Kabbalists viewed it as a time to reflect on the 7 attributes of God that we as humans should aspire towards each day to improve our character and become better versions of ourselves. And so our modern practice is to count each day, reflecting on God's attributes: loving kindness, chesed, strength, gevurah, harmony, tiferet, endurance, netzach, humility, hod, foundation, yesod, v'malchut, shechina, and sovereignty, malchuyot. Each day we hone our practice of these attributes. This is what we have been doing in our community for the past 7 weeks as we have counted and reflected. Each year, our ritual has gathered more and more counters. And thanks to Hannah Richmond Carney, this year, she's in the back, our practice has not only included counting, but making the Omer through art. These two practices of counting and making art go naturally together. We need not look further than the first story in the Torah, the creation of the world, to understand this synergy. God counts each and every day, dedicating each day for a unique and special purpose. Each creation is an important wonder, unlike any that has come before. Yet all these days of creation and the individual creations themselves come together to make the universe. My colleague, Rabbi Emma Gottlieb, writes, "The Torah teaches us to count, day by day, step by step, from Passover to Shavuot, 49 days, 7 full weeks, a sacred count known as Sfirat HaOmer. But this is not just about marking time," she writes. "It is about shaping it. To count the Omer is to engage in a quiet, deliberate ritual of attention. Each day becomes a brushstroke, a note, a stitch, a word, a page, a moment of presence that accumulates into meaning. For artists, this is the essence of creative work, showing up with intention, even when the masterpiece is still yet to be seen, letting time do its slow, sacred work. Counting is creating, and each day you choose to add to creation, you are part of something beautiful." And so this year, as we celebrate Shavuot, the day of the new offering, and reflect on our Omer counting season, I want you to hear from our makers. They have truly transformed time, one act at a time, through their artistic practice of counting and creating. Our first, Karen Tabb, whose gallery you may have traveled to see, is finishing a few pieces of fiber art, all in white. Her stitching and beading have been a stand-in for meditation, contemplation, spirituality, and compassion during this time. She says that the pure white, or lack of color, calls attention to each stitch or bead. Her hand-felted piece, called My Shekhinah, though it has some holes in it, it summons hope and a quest for a higher way of being. With all the hardship and noise in the world, here and at home, Karen tells us, this work and the color is providing her solace and comfort. Lauren, where are you? She's here. Yes. Has been braiding together thick bunches of yarn whose colors relate to the Sefirot. She has sewn them together to form a wave. This act of daily braiding has helped Lauren feel connected to our biblical and mystical traditions as well as our people. Phyllis Schlesinger, while also knitting a healing shawl, thank you so much for TBE's Caring Connections, has taken a different approach with her daily artistic efforts by creating a compilation of haikus. I just love that she has taken this on because she proclaimed, "Haiku writing is not my strength," but it's been a fun challenge to compose based on the day's theme. Counting the Omer is also a brand new tradition for her. Wow, and it's been very centering. So take a look at her brilliant progress. I will let you read her art. Beautiful. So Helene Rosenberg has also been crafting, making a quilt, one block representing each midah of each day. And perhaps most importantly, following through on the theme of Shavuot, it is a gleaning quilt, for Helene bought nothing, created 100% of it from scraps that she already had. In reflecting on her work, she realized an interesting lesson. She pushed to continue on with her intentions, even when she thought the quilt wasn't coming out exactly as she wanted it to. This is certainly a metaphor for many of the things going on in our lives. Even if all of us are not counting or crafting the Omer, this is a great time to intentionally persist on an effort, piece by piece, day by day, placing trust in the journey and the process that the result of this work will be art. It is. Susan Richmond, Hannah's mom, who will hopefully see us online, found the same to be true of her art. She has never before actually completed all 50 days of the Omer. While she knew this project and this time period may not be perfect, she started the work anyways and gave herself a lot of grace along the way. Susan has created 7 upcycled aprons from second-hand men's shirts. What a concept. The base fabric symbolizes the sphera of the week, and the pockets, ties, or other fabrics show the interaction of that daily quality within the bigger focus of the week. She says, I found myself pondering the interactions of these different sphirot and realizing that just as my aprons would be less visually interesting and unique without the extra patch pockets and contrasting waist ties, so our lives would be less interesting or less human without the interactions of all of our character traits. We so often slip into thinking that we need to find the one way or the one trait to solve all of our challenges. But this project has reminded me that it's all in the interaction of these qualities that make the difference in our lives. She continued, I've also learned daily lessons in both perseverance and in pacing myself. This is typically one of the busiest times of the year for me. How could I possibly add in something? But the idea of just even 5 minutes a day seemed doable. Just sew one pocket. I didn't have to do the whole thing all at once. And quite often, if things were going well, I made myself say that this is enough for today. I'll do the next step tomorrow. As for the perseverance, Susan worked through 2 broken sewing machines. Frustration, setback, wasted time going out of her way to try to learn how to fix the machines. Partway through the project, neither machine was working as it should when she happened into her favorite secondhand shop in her little town. There was a vintage sewing machine on sale. She passed it up though, went home, regretted it, and prayed that it would still be there the next day when she returned. And of course, because it's the period of the Omer, there it was. And it worked like a charm. Amazingly, the machine was made in the same year that Susan was born. It was meant to be. She writes, I wouldn't have discovered this wonderful, simple, hardworking sewing machine were it not for the Omer project. I'll be ready to do much more sewing after this 7-week journey is complete. So Susan brings us back to the wonder of crafting and creating each detail at a time in pursuit of a greater whole. There is a meditative practice in each step, and certainly a celebration of accomplishment at the end. A new offering, for sure. But along the way, while we focus, set our intentions, stick to them, wrestle and stay the course, there is usually some unexpected blessing, learning, revelation, or discovery that comes. I am truly not surprised that the longest Jewish ritual of all time is most likely the least commonly practiced, as opposed to the 7 or 8 day periods of Hanukkah or Pesach. Our TBE Omer makers remind us that true beauty and the most extraordinary wonders of creation can be discovered in the process of a long, thoughtful journey. So maybe next year you will join us simply in the counting or maybe in the making. And if you are just as inspired as I am, you will spend more time in our gallery in the atrium. Thank you to Hannah, to Rabbi Harper, to all of our makers who have helped us, especially our guests, who have helped us to kick off our Shavuot celebration. Our days will pass, whether we take note of them or not. I am so grateful that this season has given us the opportunity to not only watch our days pass by, but create meaning within them as they do. Chag Sameach.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi, would you light candles with our artists who are present?
Yes, what a great idea.
The holiday blessing can be found in our prayer book on page 384.
All of our artists, including our guests, if you would like to join us for candle lighting, please feel free.
Page 384, festival candles.
Instead of Shabbat, tonight we say Vishel Yom Tov for our special holiday. Let's join together as the candles are lit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel yom tov.
Amen. And Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
If you're able, let's all rise for Baruch Hu, page 394.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Page 396, if you'd like to be seated, you can.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. El chai v'kayam tamid yimlach aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ari v'aravi.
398.
I am missing my pick. It's part of Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shokveinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha. Uve'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu. Uvahem nege yomam v'layla. V'avatachal tazir mimenu le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
400.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
402. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם. 406.
A special melody featuring the sounds of the Akdamut, a mode that goes yai ba 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 ba. You're going to hear it repeat a few times throughout this setting of Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot oseifelech, Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli anu ve'ameru, Adonai imlach le'olam va'ed, V'ne'emar kivar Adonai et Yaakov, Uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
So let's turn to page 468 for the Hatzifilah, the Tefillah. This is a festival of offering, so we rise together to offer our praises and our gratitude.
You're going to hear a little bit of a mix of some 3 festival sounds and perhaps some familiar Shabbat sounds. And so join in wherever you feel so moved. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Goel Ibnei Bneihem, L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah
Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
Let's read together page 473. Your might, O God, renews the earth. With dewdrops of light and blessing, let the earth be illumined and blessed. With dewdrops of joy and delight, let the earth rejoice and sing out. With dewdrops of life and well-being, let the earth be revived and improved. With dewdrops of redemption, let the earth be redeemed.
לברכה ולא לקללה, לחיים ולא למוות, לסובה ולא לרזות.
For blessing and not for curse, for life and not death, for abundance, not want.
474. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Continuing independently. Shavuot insertions on the following pages.
You're welcome to continue your blessings. For those who are finished, we'll join together on page 492, a prayer for peace. Ose shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Israel, ve'imeru, amen.
On Shavuot, we celebrate Matan Torah, the giving of Torah, that wisdom that shapes our lives. And we receive that Torah on Mount Sinai, and we look forward to that as we count the Omer, and then on Shavuot, we learn, perhaps late into the night if we have enough coffee, in anticipation of remembering that moment of receiving the Torah. And this holiday offers us an opportunity, as it marks the end of our adult learning year and the transition into Summer Institute. It offers us an opportunity to reflect on all the learning that we have done, the wisdom that we have acquired, and the ways that we've brought Torah into the world through our words and our deeds this year. So whether you took a class with us here in Elements or the Well or T-Bell, or you came to hear a speaker or participate in a Tikkun Olam opportunity, whatever you might have done with us this year, or anywhere out in the world, if you had a really meaningful conversation with someone, you too have taken part in the ongoing giving and receiving of Torah. So we're going to take a moment, because we don't read Torah at the evening service. We'll read it tomorrow morning if you come back for our festival morning service. We'll take this moment to bring a little bit of Torah into our midst with your Torah, What is the Torah that you personally have received in this year? So I'm going to invite you to take half a minute to think to yourself about a piece of wisdom, some new piece of wisdom that was revealed to you this year. It might have been something you learned here, might have been something you learned out in the world, something that someone said to you that struck you in a new way, a different way, something you read, something you experienced. Some new piece of wisdom that came into your life this year. As you're thinking about that piece of wisdom, I'm going to invite you. The theme of our adult learning this year was Chavruta, the study, the technology of paired study that we have inherited in our tradition. I'm going to invite you to just do a little tiny moment of Chavruta, which is to turn to someone sitting near you, ideally someone you didn't come in with. Turn to someone who's sitting near you, and each just take a minute to share that piece of wisdom that you have acquired this year. Just take a minute, someone sitting next to you, share that piece of wisdom that you've acquired this year. It means you get to give a piece of wisdom and you get to receive a piece of wisdom. A little bit of extra Torah in the world. Make sure you each get a chance to share. Take a few more moments. Okay, got you first. So 1 second. Okay, so 1 second. All right. That buzz that's happening around the sanctuary, that's the sound of a Beit Midrash. That is the sound of Torah. That is the sound of revelation. All those different voices of Torah speaking at once, that is the sound of revelation. That is what we are celebrating this Shavuot. All those voices of God, all that Torah that's come into the world. So I'm going to invite you to bring your attention back up. For all of that Torah we've received this year, all the Torah we've given this year, and for all we hope to give and receive in the next year, our adult engagement team is going to join me in offering you a special blessing that's based on Hadran Alach, which has been recited for thousands of years to mark the siyum, or the conclusion of a course of learning. So it is our honor to bless you. I'll invite you, if you are able to rise, to receive that blessing. And knowing that each one of us has just engaged in the giving and receiving of Torah, this is our sacred opportunity and responsibility each and every day. We are pleased to offer you a blessing.
May it be your will, source of Torah and wisdom, that just as you have helped us to complete this year of learning, so too may you help us to seek out and acquire more learning in the year to come.
May you guide us as we learn and teach the words of the teaching of your Torah with love, and guide us with strength as we work to fulfill them, and to bring to life in the world around us with the work of our hands and hearts.
May we each be supported by the wisdom of our ancestors and strengthened by the wisdom that comes from within, so that we can share our own Torah and nurture the Torah of the next generation with love.
We say to our learning, may we return to you and may you return to us. And may you inspire us along our paths to shalom, that there may be abundant peace and life upon us and upon all the people of Israel. Together we can say, Amen. I'll invite you to return to your seats. Thank you.
And as you've returned to your seats, I invite you to rise once again if you're able. Page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach
Adon hakol, ladet getula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol amonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo 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 echad.
So as you know, the mission is to all rise for the mourner's Kaddish. So rather than sit you down again and then ask you to stand up, we'll do raising hands instead. But I want the mourners in our midst to be able to identify themselves and recite the name or names of those individuals they're remembering. So is anyone observing a yortzeit or is currently within the period of mourning? If you'd please raise your hand and recite the name and the relationship of the person you're remembering. Did I miss anyone? Then if the mourners in our midst will lead us, page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'galav izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mavarach le'alam olmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'grusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata ta'amiran b'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al If you were looking for the big reveal, which is the gift of Torah, right? The big reveal. That comes tomorrow. We will read from the scroll at 10 a.m. Morning services with Yisker. So let us
So at this moment, we'll
transition.
invite you to join us for a festive Shavuot meal in CGB. So just head
We
slightly
have
down
Kiddush.
the hall. We have Kiddush
we'll
and
go
we
to
have
CGP
Motzi. So we're
In just
gonna
a second.
say Kiddush and Motzi so that we can all enjoy as soon as we step into the room together. And then we'll invite you back for our final keynote presentation of our Scholar in Residence weekend. Rabbi Linda Moskin is going to be presenting these incredible pieces of Torah-inspired art for us right after dinner.
I understand that last night was the last bar mitzvah that you led here at TBE. And so in honor of your last bar mitzvah, would you like to also do a final festival Kiddush with us?
Okay, here we go.
Regale us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha-meromemanu mikol hashon v'kidashtanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava moedim l'simcha חגים וזמנים לששון את יום חג השבועות הזה זמן מתן תורתנו מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כיוונו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ומועדי קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים.
L'chaim. Take the sip.
I didn't lift it nice and high.
And over the
a little
challah.
challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei avon. Cantor, will you do that?
Tevon CGB. To the left.
Ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na na ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na na